Greetings, Aquarius. Thanks for joining me here at the Lightroom Forecast. This is your reading around this new moon in Cancer time. We've laid out a shortened Celtic cross, and now we'll go through and just talk about it for a little bit. Thank you for your likes, shares and subscribes as well. It helps me to keep this rolling along, this channel. So you come out with the Devil card. The Devil in the Thoth deck is actually a heavy emphasis on enjoying all the wonderful things of life, of this material world. There is a heavy emphasis on that. A lot of decks, it is bondage. I mean, it is bondage anyway, because those material things can, the value of them can become even more I guess distorted. We can have a distorted perception of the value of material things. It is crossed by the Hierophant. I get this, just beautiful Hierophant here. I do get this feeling here that there's been quite a big shift in your perspective. Whatever's going on in your life, whatever it is for you. These readings are very general, but I do get a sense here that you've sort of altered your perspective. I think there's been a period of time where you've really had to, for whatever reason, really had to look at a few things within yourself, because you've had a period of time where you've overcome certain things as well. The basis of this is the Nine of Wands. We see in the Nine of Wands this, this card of habit, a card of habitual behaviours that don't necessarily belong in the here and the now, habitual behaviours of defence, quite specifically, that don't necessarily belong in the here and now. I think that's one aspect of certain things that you've been or have been having to review because of what you experience or what you want to be experiencing. Often we do need to kind of look at certain things that are maybe dampening our ability to bring new things in. What's behind you? Now remember, Aquarius, what's behind you is the Five of Swords. All the fives are about conflict, and more often than not an internal conflict. There's no reason. I mean, it sort of makes sense, doesn't it, that when we tackle a few difficult things about ourselves, some of which we're not that conscious of, but I do feel with the Hierophant here, you've become a lot more conscious of these things. Current position, we have the delightful Prince of Swords, who's really going off, experimenting. Not with any, there's a lot of room to move at the moment for you, Aquarius. There's a lot of room to go in whatever direction to test this. It's like a sort of tasting session, or like I just get that wine session where you're tasting all these different things. There's a reason for this. There's a reason to have time where we can do this, because we're just, as we go from here to there to over here, and often I think of this card as a sort of merry dance. We're getting taken along in all sorts of various directions. There's a purpose for this at this time. You're looking at all your options. You're looking at all the possibilities in your life at this current time, I do think, because you've overcome some things here, some things that were purely within yourself. Anyway, I love that Prince of Swords. Moving forward, we will clarify, as I said, we have the mighty Emperor. Very solid, very benevolent. Could be about structures that you're working in that you want to sort of be a bit more fluid with. You want more flexibility with. May well be aspects of yourself, balancing what you feel that you can control, what you really don't have control over. So let's just come through now and we'll clarify with the Morgan Greers, and we'll get a few more cards at the end. I'm really interested in the Aquarius and the Hierophant. Yeah, this is some sort of truth, clarity, Ace of Swords. It's something that's come to you over time. And it's possibly something that, whatever your environment is currently, after a period of quite possibly personal trial. I mean that in terms of understanding why and what you do and why you do it, is what I get. The Hierophant has offered you, I think of the Hierophant as either a mentor in your life, if we see it in the material form, or it's information that's come to you of a spiritual matter. I'm not talking religion. I'm talking to do with your soul, your spirit. So there's been a piercing of the crown, some new information coming through for you. The basis, let's see, the basis of this reading is the 9. The lovely old 9 of Wands again, which I think you've probably overcome quite nicely. And yes, you have. And it may well be, or have been, we get the Queen of Discs. It may well have been, you know, when we look at our ability to receive, our ability to see that we can have, certain things that possibly in the past we thought were out of our range. I do get that from this. Let's have a wee look at the 5 of Swords. Yeah, you had to get rid of that 5, you know, like sort of exercise the 5. There, you know, like the 7 is very similar to the 7, but the 5 is sort of like, we let ourselves down often with the 5, in the way that we sort of go about our business. There's sort of a hollow victory there. So we need to grapple with that, because it's conflictual, and the only way that we learn is by looking, is by being conflicted often, and sort of trawling through the landscape of that, because what we get, to clarify the 5 of Swords, is the Wheel of Fortune. Tackling this 5 of Swords has allowed you to really take off on a whole new thing. Yeah, I know I always go on about that, but the Wheel of Fortune it's actually a sort of, you could almost look at it like, you know, there's one special little jewel of karmic lessons here that you've totally learnt and understood. And understood is this is the thing. So let's look at the delightful and somewhat delirious, I don't know why I get that, somewhat delirious Prince of Swords. Going off, he's pulled along by his little fairy orchestra, and it's for a period of time. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. To clarify this beautiful Prince of Swords, we get the Empress, loving this, you know, you're nurturing yourself here, Aquarius, I do feel. This wonderful sense of mothering, love, nurturing, creativity, seeds of potential are really getting scattered around with this Prince of Swords. Seeds of potential here. Not all thought, not all direct, to be directed and goal orientated is fabulous. But a lot of amazing things come when we're just sort of on our merry dance. This Empress is, there is synthesis, there's the burgeoning of new growth here while you enjoy this delirious dance, is what I hear. The other card too is the Six of Wands. This is a winning card. People see this. People see your joie de vivre, dear Aquarius. Wow. So you've really overcome quite a few hurdles. On the bottom of the Thoth deck, after I did deal the cards, we had Adjustment, which is justice. I think that's kind of lovely. Emperor. We've got Mother and we've got the Holy, the big consorts here with the Empress and the Emperor together. This is a really solid, moving forward. Enjoy this time, because there's some really solid things that will be brought into your material world. I do feel that there's some really good solid stuff that's about to appear for you in the material sense, Aquarius. I do feel that. Can we just get one more card for the Emperor, please? Oh, my lordy. Yep. Delightful. Gorgeous. Look, you came through with this King of Swords. Is it, or is it Knight? I always get, they're quite similar in this deck. It's the Knight. You came through, you swept through, and it's kind of like you dealt with these things. In the process of dealing with particular things, behaviours, whatever, the things that were limiting you, actually, or that you wanted to hide instead of letting them come up. Throughout this process, it's not only been valuable to you in terms of your personal evolution, but in terms of your monetary value. I hate to use that term, but that's what I hear. The Knight of Swords, the truth sayer comes in here, where we're looking at the Emperor and how glorious we see the sun. Look, everything's shining at the moment for you, Aquarius, in this reading, or it certainly will be. I'll just get a journey map card, and just one card, please. And a Brian Froud, Pixie and Fairy, which we like. Excuse me, sorry. We listen to our dreams at the moment. Often, I won't go on too much, but often when we do overcome some personal hurdles in terms of understanding our motivations, how we do what we do, what's working, what's not, and we kind of push through that and really start to embody that different ways, different perspectives, we make room for even more information to come through. It's this constant understanding and emptying in order to bring more things through. We get data dreaming, which is about picking up new information in dream time. There's a lot of information to be had, and some people might think it's woo-woo, kooky doodahs, but in fact, if you have a dream book, And when you start to remember dreams, write them down, and you'll find that you start to remember more and more and more. Now, you don't want to go and spend forever trying to analyze things. What I'm saying is, though you could, what I'm saying is that there's a lot of information that comes through in kind of symbolic, obscure, metaphorical ways, and metaphor and in symbol in your dream time. Dream time is a real time. So there's room for more. There's incoming. Can we get a Brian Field? And we've got plenty of time here with Geo the Slow just popped out, this little fellow who's so happy. He sits in his little garden. He knows, the worms are doing their thing. The sun's going to come up tomorrow, ideally, and it will go down too. But he's a very patient character. Just get another card from Brian Froude's Fairy Oracle to really sum up this reading, and it certainly does. We get 2 cards here now. This blank card is part of the deck for you to put your own little fairy figure or whatever figure in. It is what you want it to be, Aquarius. With that, we get a 6, beautiful singer of connection. Look, I think for everything that's gone on for you, I mean, these readings are incredibly general. Whatever's been going on for you, you've really broken through a little membrane of sorts. And now's the time to enjoy, actually. What I just get is this sort of magnetism here. Now, you could say that's a predictable thing to say to Aquarians. I've always thought, generally speaking, Aquarians are wonderfully individualistic, but they work with the crowd, They work the room really well. So this singer of connection, beautiful card, it sort of is like being, you're sort of been like a magnet. And what happens when you're magnetized, you really draw people to you. It's quite fascinating, Aquarius, so I hope you enjoyed that. And last but not least, and just look for signs and signals in your life and keep going on this track. Let that delightful prince allow you to see a few new things. And look for signs and signals, dear Aquarius. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate all your tunings in, your likes, shares, subscribes. It really helps me a lot. So take care. There'll be a few other readings coming in later this week that are to do with your personal treasures. Heart-based stuff. Okay, Aquarius. Cheerio now. Take care. Bye.